Oh. Really pleased with the guys' performance tonight. Sometimes you come in and you talk about the effort, but tonight it was the performance. They gave the effort, but the performance was huge. We got a lot of contributions from a lot of different places. I'll just start. I'll start with Duncan Powell. Just proud of him. I said it downstairs, and to me, he's like a poster child. In terms of where we're at today in collegiate sports. Here's a guy that he didn't. He played early, then didn't get off the bench for a couple games, but he kept working. He never pouted. He did the things he needed to do. So just proud of him, and man, his points and just his presence on the floor today was huge. It was more than 21 points. It was. He has a balance to him. He doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low, and that serves us well. A lot of the times, and Javian again, he came off the bench and he had a really big game, and I was happy for him, because it ignites us, and when you get those kind of contributions coming off the bench, it does a lot for you. And defensively in the first half, I thought that was the best defense we played since I've been here at Georgia Tech. I would say, for me, that was the best first half that we played since I've been here at Georgia Tech on both sides of the ball. I just thought we were connected, we were intentional, and we did a lot of good things. And I was really happy and proud of the fellas. And the thing about it is we got to just keep getting better. There's been a lot of work. I think that, within, and when I say within, I'm talking about our locker room. I think that we've all been, disappointed at a lot of things. And there's a injury here, injury there, and, there's a whole bunch of things that you can say. But, man, I'm not into all that. I'm from the old school. You got what you got. We got to figure it out. And I knew, for me, I knew that when we got to the break, we'll have some practice time, and it was going to help us, because I knew based on the injuries that we had, we were going to have to play big, but then we were going to have to play small as well. And so the practice time has helped. We've been able to rep more things. We've been able to do more things on both sides of the ball. Guys have gotten back to getting the individual work. Like we've really bled into our guys, and we've been able to get some payback on it, I think, the last couple games. But as their coach, like, I'm not happy. I see these things. I see these things coming, and you got to see a bigger picture than what the kids see. And I think today was a breakthrough from the standpoint of this. Notre Dame is a tricky team. They're tricky because they're not conventional. And when I say not conventional, they don't, with Marcus Burton out, they don't have a guy that breaks you down off the dribble. They have really good players. They set screens. They have a great feel as a team and as individuals. And they really just wait for you to make a mistake defensively to have success. And their best players, best perimeter player, Shrewsbury, exemplifies that. But to hold him to 0 points in the first half, and he got away from us a little bit in the second half, but we withstood all those runs with getting a stop and getting scores ourselves. But I was just big picture, just really proud of them, because that's a team that executes to have success. They're not rolling the balls out there. They're not trying to out-talent you. They're trying to outperform you, and that's why I'm so proud of the guys.
Okay, questions? Chad?
How did Vi going out early in that second half really change the dynamic of that half?
It changed, obviously. I thought we had a rhythm and we had a flow. And it changes the substitution pattern. Again, I think that what you're seeing at times, when you're playing against us, and it's been helping us a little bit. So I wish he really wouldn't have got in foul trouble. Like, people are going smaller against us, so it allowed me to put 4 guards on the floor. And I think, like, I'll put my 4 guards on the floor against any 4 guards in the country. And, you know, you give me one big I could put out there, and I think we can have a lot of success. But I think that with what's different with and Duncan, obviously, Duncan can stretch it, he can shoot it. Great corner, three-point shooter, things of that nature. Really good finisher, make free throws. Is a guy that's a presence, you know, rim runner, catch the ball in the short pocket, you know, can make plays. But, you know, has to be better from that standpoint. You know, when you're around a kid for so long, you kind of see it coming. And so, you know, with him standing up, straight up and down, you know, when you're playing against a guy like Davis who's, you know, compact, strong, looking to find your body to have success, you know, you got to understand that. And these are the things that I was telling him, and not only tell him, I tell all our guys, you know, because we need everybody to have success. And, you know, on paper had a decent game, but I'd have liked him to be out there, you know, a little bit longer.
Same when Notre Dame closed the gap, Duncan took it upon himself. You know, he had the mindset that he wasn't going to be stopped. He got in the lane, and he just, you know, he was like a bull in a china shop out there. Mm-hmm. He really closed it out for you.
Yeah, you know, again, you know, Duncan he one of them dudes, he definitely not scared of the moment. You know, he's not scared of the moment, and had a couple big-time plays down the stretch. You know, he went down the lane and got that dunk. You know, he got fouled in a couple possessions. And, you know, again, I'm just, you know, I'm proud of him. I'm not easy to play for all the time. You know, I mean, I demand excellence to the best of my ability. I demand excellence. And, you know, I really was on him. But I think we got to understand it, and I understand him now. You know, sometimes I always say this, and it's funny. You know, I heard Michael Malone say this. You know, you got to really pour into the kid, because once they know you care, they allow you to do anything to them, right? And so he said he learned that from his father. I played for his father. My rookie year, I played for his father, and he did it every day. And, you know, getting to know Duncan, understanding his story, understanding where he's from, you gotta know who you're coaching now. You know what I mean? Because you might have a mindset to coach him this way, but that might not be the way to coach him. And so with him, you know, you learn how to coach him through getting to know a person. And so it's made it easier for me, you know, to know who he is away from the court, because now you can talk to him about things that don't have nothing to do with basketball. So I know who he is. And so now you turn him, and you're able to do some different things with him that maybe you're not able to do other times if we didn't have that same relationship.
Towards the end of the first half, you got really animated coaching them on defense. Seemed like you were really into what the team was doing on the court, and we're proud of them in the moment and trying to egg them on more. Just how does it feel to, like, finally kind of see that? I know that's been something you've been pushing, but as a coach, how does it feel to see them kind of click on the court finally for you after all the different struggles this year and the ups and downs?
Right. It felt good. You know, it felt good because they felt good. You know, I was happy to see them feeling good, playing for each other. You know, that's the biggest thing. We needed this game for that. And I think that practice has been good. We've been getting a lot of mileage out of that, but to do it in the game, it was great to see. And, you know, just trying to always keep guys going. We're ever evolving as a group, and you know, there's little things that you see as their coach that you just try to coach them through. And so those are the things that I do. I'm not trying to be animated, but at the same time, too, I was just happy and proud of them guys. That was about as good of a first half, if not the best first half that we've had on both sides of the ball since I've been here.
Coach, prior to Christmas, you had a game, and then prior to New Year's, you have a game, and then you're coming back for another home game. So what kind of scheduling bonus is that to kind of have the guys kind of hang around and not have to do much traveling because you got a little win streak going?
It's really good. I think, I wanted to have, the A&M game. I wanted to play a game before we got back to playing conference, because last year when we went over to Diamond Head, we had that long layoff, and I felt like it killed our momentum. I thought we were playing really well, and then we didn't have a game for like 8 days, and then we go right into conference, and we lost about 4 or 5 in a row. Before we didn't win for the whole month of January, I think, almost, until we beat Clemson on the road. And so I just wanted to have a game to help us, before we got back to conference play. And I think that was huge for us, to get our legs up underneath us, to get us some reps and do things that we needed to do that was going to help us today. And so that was big. And we're 3-1 on this 5-game homestand, and we talked about closing it out, against BC, here on Saturday. So I'm proud of the fellas for handling business. I always say this: people don't understand. Even the game against Alabama A&M, it's hard to win. It's hard to win games and blow people out when people feel like that's what you're supposed to do, right? You know what I mean? So you play with a little anxiety. You get a little nervous as coach. You try not to put it off on your players. You want somebody to grab your hand like I used to grab Coach Olsen and be like, "It's going to be okay, Coach." But nobody does that quite yet. I'm hoping to get to that point. But, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, those are the things that you do. But like I've said to our guys, and I meant this, we're getting better. We're having our moments. But right now, who we are, it doesn't matter if we're playing the best team in the country or we're playing the 300 ranked team in the country. We got to do these certain things to win games, and it's probably going to look like this regardless. So, proud of the guys again for the effort and what they played with tonight.
Coach, you're only up 3, 69-66 at about 5:50 to go. Lance makes 1 out of 2. Then he gets that steal, and then he makes a reverse layup,
right.
And then he hits a big 3.
Right.
I mean, his competitive nature, what's that meant to this team, not just today, but to some of the younger guys to see that as well?
I mean, it means a lot. Lance is I didn't really know what I had. I hadn't seen Lance, too much, but man, he's competitive. He's a really good ball player. He does things the right way. Tonight, he sacrificed shots, I thought, to guard Shrewsbury. He did a great job in the first half. So I think that was huge. And, that layup he made and then to come right back and knock down that 3 was big. So, I enjoy coaching him. I'll do anything for Lance. He's a good kid. He comes from a good family, and the one thing, if I can get him to do something more, I want him to talk more. He don't talk enough. You know what I mean? But he does everything that a coach would ask for. And so I really appreciate and admire him for the things that he does to help the team, help the program, and you don't get kids like that on a consistent basis all the time.
For a couple more. Go, Rob.
Defensively, you limited them to only 4 points off a turnover, so you took away the easy buckets. How big was that for your team, especially when you scored 17 off of turnovers?
Well, it was huge, but if you look at the game and what I've been preaching, going back to Oklahoma, going back to Northwestern, a lot of our transition points that we're giving up had to do with live ball turnovers and bad shots. And so what happens is it just bleeds into, without guys knowing, it bleeds into your energy. It fatigues you. Guys are going the other way on jailbreaks is what I like to call them, getting layups. You call them timeouts, even though I had to burn a couple to save runs early. But we've done a great job the past 2 games. Last game, I think we had 27 assists. Today we had 17 on 8 turnovers. I just love the way I love the way we've been sharing the ball. We've done a great job of that, and I think that has a lot to do with not only our transition, but us not giving up transition points.
Probably if you want to wrap this up.
I thought one of the interesting guys to watch every week is Jaden Mustafa, and he had 2 really big plays towards the end of the game. The rebound, calling the timeout as he was falling out of bounds. A great hustle play to get the board, control his body enough to call the timeout, and then hitting the free throws down the stretch. Just, he had 5 points or whatever, but how big has he been to you guys as a glue guy and just a guy who does a little of everything for you?
He's been really good. I'm tough on him. I'm tough on him, but he's been really good. And, I think that the biggest thing that Jaden is figuring out is, each game is different. And I think that as the year goes on, I think that he can play a bigger role for us. I envision him, most people think I'm crazy, but it's what I'm used to. I envision him being strong enough to guard Tay Davis. Like, he should be able to guard him eventually. He's a big guard. Like, Jaden's a big guard. Like, once he knows how to use his body and learns how to use his body and things of that nature, he'll learn how to guard those type of guys. He'll add a lot of different things that guards don't do. He'll be able to set screens. He'll be able to go in there and get those type of rebounds that he did, towards the end of the game. And I've challenged him, and he's responded. Been really happy, been really pleased. For the most part, he's been a day one freshman. And there's not a lot of freshmen in the country like that. And, he's a good kid. He comes from a good family. He's been through a lot of stuff this year with his pops passing. But you would never know it because he has a balance to him. And, I appreciate that. And, getting to know him, has been a joy. Getting to know him and his family has been a joy.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
All right.